Before we move on and assemble the lamp in the assembly feature, what we're going to do is have a look at creating a wire that looks like it's coming out of the back of the lamp from the light down to the base where the switch and the power would be coming from, and we'll make it go through the stand as well using a sweep tool. So it'll be a brand new tool for most of you to have a go with. For this we need to create a path that we're then going to sweep a circle along. So the circle would be the cross section of the wire, and the path is telling the circle where it goes. Okay, so the path is going to be the first thing that we create. So if we look at it from the left hand side, our path is going to sweep down through the center of here, wind through this lower bar, and then join to this surface here. Okay, so if we just draw a rough line in first where we want it to go, so we're going to sketch on the right work plane. The right work plane, because that is in the center, it's cutting through the middle of this hole here. We're going to use that line tool, and we're just going to draw it roughly where we want it to go. So it's going down through that gap, back through, down again, back through here, and then to the base. Okay, we want it to be curvy and nice so it looks a little bit more real, but first we need to get this line in, and then we add all our rounds and our fillets to it. So let's dimension this one up. It's really important to make sure you leave enough space so that you bear in mind that circle that's the cross section to make the wire is sweeping along it. So we're going to make sure that this point is dimensioned from the base here, and it needs to be 470 above, and that'll line up with the center of the circle so it goes into the middle. This will be 100 coming out, and then we can dimension this one being above 220 from the base here to this line. We're going to go for 80, and it's just making sure I've got plenty of gaps all the way through. We're going to make sure that this touches the base, so the bottom point of that line to the base needs to be 0, so we know it's touching. And then actually from that center point, if we measure, we don't want it too far off the middle, so we're going to make that 10. The distance of this to the center will be 85, so it doesn't stick too far out of the back. The distance from this point to the center, let's make that 120, so that'll allow for the round at the top. And the last one, the distance from here to the center, we need to get that quite a lot closer to the bar really, so let's make that 40, and that all looks like it's going to work to me. Just check around your dimensions. Yeah, I'm happy with those. So now what we're going to do, we're going to start to add the fillets in, which are all the rounds, so the path looks like it's actually sweeping and it doesn't take these really sharp, unrealistic angles. So when you fillet, we're selecting the fillet tool, the sketch fillet, and we're clicking the lines between which we want the curve, and then when you click down, it'll put your dimension in, so you can see it's just hiding with a 100 at the top. If you're happy with that, you click and it's put the round in. I actually don't want it to be 30, I'm going to change that top one to 50. You'll notice though, the next one I try and put in, it'll also try and make it 50, which for this one isn't very good. So I'm going to change the dimension before I click. Quite important that you try and remember that. And that's 20. Okay, now just zoom in to make it a bit easier. Between these two again, don't want it to be 20 this time, I want it to be 15. I'm going to keep working down so all of our corners have this fillet done. So this one can be 15 again. And this one's going to be slightly different. We're going to make that one 30. And if we zoom out now, you can see our path is actually sweeping down. Lots and lots of dimensions to sort there, but just take your time and get them in as accurate. If they're slightly different, it doesn't matter. As long as you've got a path that you're happy with, make sure the path is coming from the center here. You can even dimension that to the back of this if you want as 0. You won't see it in the final one, but that's absolutely fine. Okay, we are now going to finish that sketch, and we're going to create the cross section that we need to sweep up the path. So the cross section needs to be a circle, and I like to do it on the end here. You could do it at the other end this side. I think this one's just going to be a little bit easier. So click on the surface, we're going to create a sketch, and it's just a circle. Our circle, I'm going to make it 5 millimeters. so it'll leave a little gap at the top, and I think it looks quite detailed and quite nice at the end. So 5mm, that is that sketch done. So you can see I've got two sketches that are going to combine to make my sweep. Now if we click on the sweep feature, it's going to ask us two questions. The face that we want to sweep, which is our second sketch, our sketch 26 in this case, and our sweep path, which is the line, which is sketch 25. And you'll see it throws that circle all the way along the line right to the top, and it's quite a nice feature to try. Give it a go. Good luck.